welcome to OATs Uncut, which is Order Academy Talks Uncut. We are completely original, unscripted, and honest. My name is Yuvan and I'm here today with my friend Ken Kimura. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Yuvan.
Have you done anything cool, interesting today?
Oh yeah, I actually went out to lunch with my family, and I also played soccer with my friends. How about you?
I didn't do much today. I went biking with a couple of my friends. We just biked around Livingston. Had a biology class in the morning. I had to wake up at 9 for, so that was a little bit annoying. But are you doing anything this summer?
Yeah, I'm actually going to Japan and Vietnam this summer. It's gonna be fun. What about you?
I have Newark Academy, which is like a prep course for summer. So I have to prep for high school. And I'm currently taking Algebra 2 there. I have a lot of my friends there as well. Everyone's studying for high school this summer. It's gonna be pretty stressful.
Oh, cool. I'm actually doing something similar to what you're doing at Newark Academy. I'm taking a pre-college course at NJIT, which is a college that does things like engineering, architecture, etc.
So Ken, do you know why we're here today? We are here today because we have to show Miss Vanita that we can do this podcast without her.
Okay, great. Let's do it. What are we talking about today?
So we were talking about colleges. So on the topic of colleges, do you know about the ways to get into colleges, to get into good colleges?
Study hard, do your work. I actually don't really know much. Could you tell me?
So I think the number one factor of getting into a college is definitely your grades, because if you don't have good grades, then everything else you put on your resume, on your application, they won't look at. And then also there's your SAT or ACT scores, whichever one you want to do. And then you have your extracurriculars, clubs, what courses you're taking, stuff like that. And while we're on the topic of admissions, I heard that there was an issue where people were actually not getting into certain colleges because of their race. Have you heard about this?
I think I have. Could you tell me more about it?
I believe, I don't know the exact term of it just slipped my head. I think it's when colleges look for students, but when they look for students, they actually take their race and ethnicity into account when they're recruiting students, so that their campuses can be more diverse, and so there can be more people that may be in minority groups.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. It's called affirmative action, right?
Yeah.
But diversity is good, but won't it create some sort of unfairness between people?
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Now that I think about it, it's not really fair because people don't have any choice over where they are born, what race they are. And if, let's say there's two students, right? One has a 3.8 GPA and one has a 4.0 GPA. If colleges weren't allowed to look at those people's races, then obviously they would choose the person with the 4.0 GPA. But with affirmative action, if the person with the 3.8 GPA was a minority group, and then the person with the 4.0 GPA was a majority group, then they could have chosen the person with the 3.8 GPA because they wanted more diversity in their school, which is completely unfair for the person who worked really, really hard but couldn't get in because of a factor that they couldn't control.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it makes sense now, but you explain it like it's bad, but why did it exist then?
I think it existed because colleges realized that their campuses didn't really reflect either real life or where the college came from. Because I've heard that certain colleges, I'm just gonna make this up, but let's say Princeton. In the city of Princeton, let's say 25% of the people are Asian.
Yeah.
Then in the colleges, there might be more Asian people, a higher percentage. So there might be 50% Asian people. Again, these are just ballpark numbers. But if there are more people in the college, that are of the certain race that are not in the actual city or state that they're representing, then it could pose an issue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely something that we need to talk about. I believe a couple years ago, 2020, 2021, affirmative action actually got banned. But that doesn't actually stop the colleges from being able to see people's races and ethnicities, obviously. So the issue could still exist.
Oh, okay. How... If...
Okay, so how about we just talk about what we were talking about in the beginning with like the factors of getting into a college. Do you have any other questions about how you can get into a good college?
Yeah, you said things about ACT and ACT, but what about other extrinsic factors such as sports or like extracurricular activities? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. We both had the same ELA teacher this year, and she gave us a big project at the end of the year, which is our passion project.
Yeah.
Where we had to choose a topic and we had to research that topic. I believe yours was about coding video games.
Yeah,
something.
that was.
Yeah. So I actually chose to make like a Google site about colleges and like college research. So I know a little bit about that. I think that the SAT and ACT scores are like tests with reading and writing and also math sections where you come into the facility, you take the test, and they give you a score. I think the ACT is out of 30 and the SAT is out of 1600. And that score, if you put that on your college application or your college resume, then that'll let the admissions team know like where you are in standardized testing and how much you know about the high school curriculum. And I think it's really important, but there's also, like you said, extracurricular activities like sports. And I think that's also a really big factor because while we're talking about passion projects, colleges want to see that you have a passion. Like, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. So colleges take into account academic things, but they also care upon other things like passions, because if it was just for academic things, it would be just really simple, like whoever has higher grades and things, but I see.
Yeah. And then I've also like heard that colleges have started to make the SAT and ACT exams actually less mandatory, and a lot of colleges are doing this now. Do you think that skipping the SAT or ACT would give you like the same chance of getting into a college where if you take it or not?
I don't think so, because the ACT and the SAT are ways to like assess how you are or what you've learned in high school. So like, it's, even though it's not required, some colleges don't require it, I think it is important to have it still.
Yeah, I agree, because I remember one of my teachers, when they were prepping us for NJSLA, they said that if the prompt on the open-ended question asks you and says you can do this, like you can write an extra paragraph, it's actually prompting you to do that. So I think if you put in your SAT and ACT scores, you'll have like a slight edge over the students that actually didn't include their SAT and ACT scores.
Okay, yeah.
Do you believe... So I know a lot of students are like skipping out on like honors and AP courses in high school because they think they're a little bit like too challenging and they're not worth the extra GPA. Do you think it's better to take like easy classes that can boost your GPA or like hard classes that can challenge you?
I think it's better to take harder classes, because colleges would probably want somebody who's like determined and wants to challenge themselves to do more and to become something better.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Taking these like challenging classes, I've heard that they give you a higher GPA, like they have a higher threshold. So AP courses, instead of just having the 4 maximum GPA, it's actually a 5 GPA. So it can add on to your 4 GPA and give you extra credit. But I think one of the bad things about that is, since there's such a challenging course, that if you don't do well in them, you could actually be harmed more than if you took like a CP or honors course instead of an AP. In high school, obviously it's too early to decide, but do you think you're going to be going for like more AP courses or honors courses or CP courses? What are you thinking?
Based on what you said, I think I'm gonna try to challenge myself, maybe take some AP and honors course, because I think it might be good for me to advance like later in my academic career.
Yeah. I also think I'm gonna take a little bit more AP courses, but I've heard from parents that taking a lot of AP courses is a lot of time, and obviously like a lot of students don't realize that high school means you have to allot a lot of time after school to study for tests, quizzes, homework, whatever it be. And I've also heard like a lot of students, after they finish their work at the high school, they go to the library after school and they meet up with friends and they share homework, they study for tests together. So I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, so environment also matters. Huh? So I have a question for you. This is an example. Let's say a college saw someone with like a 3.8 GPA, but they take like APs and honors. But they see someone else with like a 4.0 GPA, but they take like mostly CPs and maybe like 1 or so honors. Which one do you think they would rather choose?
I think that if the college is, it's all the college's choice, obviously. But I think that the college should choose the person who took the more challenging courses. And if they don't choose the person who took the more challenging courses, and if that person is you, then you probably don't want to be getting into that college in the first place if they don't value what choices you made to take the more challenging route, rather than someone who just took easy courses just to have their GPA number higher, which doesn't really show anything about like their journey.
Okay, yeah. So, although statistics and grades, they show like some sort of academic prowess, they don't show a person's like personality or how they are.
Yeah, I think that definitely ties into your point about passion, because if a college doesn't see that you have a passion, or you do things outside of school that aren't just academics, like you don't have a drive, then they're probably not gonna accept you, because they want someone with a strong personality, not just someone who like spends all their time studying and grinding their GPA, doing everything possible to get a good GPA. They want someone who can like have a little bit of personality in their life.
So somebody who sees like the bigger picture, and like instead of aiming on numbers, they aim on growth and development on themselves.
Yeah, I believe that, because I think that is what matters in life, really, where you have to grow as a person, and it's not just all about the numbers in life, it's about how you grow, how you are happy.
Going on to another topic, this is related to colleges, but I've heard about this thing called trade schools. Which one do you think is better?
I think they're both good. I mean, so if this was a couple years ago, maybe like 2 decades, 20 years ago, I think that colleges would have been the right choice. Because if you look at everyone today, a lot of people who have like office jobs, that have like well-paying jobs, obviously like salary isn't everything, but they all went to like good colleges, and that's what drove them. But I think in today's age, where everyone is aiming to get into a college, if you have like a passion, or if you really want to do something that is not like an office job, I guess you could say, or like a medical job, something that just takes like everyday skills, like maybe like electricity, plumbing, something like that, you could go to a trade school, because it's very cheap. It teaches you all the skills you need to know. It's also way shorter than colleges. You don't need to go for a full education. And I think they're really underestimated, because in today's world, a lot of people are going to be shooting for colleges. But that might make other jobs that are just as important, like plumbers, electricians, have less demand, and they could make a lot more money doing those jobs. Not to mention the fact that people who go to college to get like office jobs, they might not be happy with their jobs, but the people who go to trade school, they know that they want to be in that division. So when they do get their job, they're a lot more happy with their job. What about you? Do you think college is better, trade school are better, or does it just matter on the person?
I think it matters on the person, because if you go to a trade school and like it helps with like specialization, like if you go to trade school on like something you love, it'll be better for you, since like you learn like mostly that. And also cost and tuition is very important, because colleges often can be really expensive, you know? So many people have like student loans for colleges and things. Do you think that trade schools could be like a solution to that?
Yeah, I definitely think they could, because you are talking about like student loans, right? So that's definitely like a really, really important factor in choosing colleges, is how much does this college cost? Because there's a lot of people who have gotten into a lot of good colleges, but they can't choose the college that they really want to because of the amount of money that it costs. So trade schools is definitely a good solution to this, because it's a lot cheaper than a traditional college, and student debt is on the rise right now. Like if you look at a chart, it's just going to be going up and up and up.
Yeah, I think I saw some article. It said that in 2024 there was $1.77 trillion in student loans. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely a ton of money. Imagine if that money was like in the government, or in like the healthcare system, or some other sector of the government. That would definitely change the world, that amount of money, right? So, you were talking about like student loans, and we talked about the factors of getting into a college, colleges or trade schools, affirmative action. But I'm gonna ask you, do you have like a favorite college, or maybe like some colleges that you're looking out for, like a certain job, a job sector, something like that?
Yeah, honestly, I want to go to like medical school, so like in my dream colleges would probably be like some of the Ivies or like good, but I don't know if I'm gonna get in.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get into like an Ivy or a college that has like a high standing, but yeah, they are hard to get into, true. But I think if you put in enough effort, and if you like study hard, you have a lot of extracurriculars, you do a lot of good things, then I think you can get into those colleges. You just need to like be focused and not get distracted. I think a college that I really want to go to is Princeton. So I want to go there, number one, because it's really close to us. It's literally in New Jersey, where this is being filmed. And it's also an Ivy League. I have some friends in Princeton, and I can go meet them over there. And I've also been to the campus. I actually went to the campus like four days ago. I went somewhere over the weekend with my friend who lives in Princeton, and we went and we saw the campus. There was also a really nice Japanese deli there. I stopped by and we got some soy sauce because we didn't have enough at home. But yeah, Princeton is a really nice town. It has like a lot of good food there. There's a lot of like ethnicity there. You can find different types of people from everywhere, like Asians, everyone is there. So
okay, yeah, that seems nice. I would want to maybe go there. But aren't like good colleges usually like more expensive, do you say?
Yeah, good colleges, as in like colleges that like teach you well, are more expensive, probably just because of the fact that those colleges are more well known. So like when you're applying for a job after you finish college, like we're thinking into the future here, if you apply for a job with a college that the recruiter has never heard of, then he would probably have to ask you like follow-up questions like, so what did you learn here? How many students graduated from here? Like what was your rank in the class, right? But if you graduate from a college that is like super well known, like let's say like Princeton, UPenn, doesn't even have to be one of the Ivies, like a college that is recognizable, then they will know, oh, you're a good student. Yes, I need you for my job, for this job. So I think everything from colleges it all depends on you. If you want to go to a trade school or if you want to go to a college, the factors of getting into a college, student debt, it's all up to you. So thank you for tuning in. I'm going to show this to Miss Vanita after we're done, and hopefully we proved ourselves. Again, my name is Yuvan, and your name is?
I'm Ken.
And Oats out. Bye-bye.